Hey guys, and welcome back to Regrexit, Brexit England, a country who is still got the Ukraine all over the telly and the radio and the newspapers. It's the Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. And still nothing has been said about the apartheid that has been committed on the Palestinian people. And that was said by Amnesty International on the 1st of February. We're now pushing it into nearly April because today's the 23rd of March and still nothing. Nothing said about the Yemen. Still, these people are shameless. That should be a TV program about this country. Shameless. Because that's what these people are. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. And you know what today is, right? There's no prize, because the last time I done that, right, I really got messed up. Right? But today, right, is the 23rd of March. And you know what date that is, right? Exactly 2 years ago, right, we had our first lockdown. Yeah. COVID. That's when, obviously we'd heard about COVID a few, because we'd heard about COVID, a few weeks or a few months before this, right? So, and this is when, today is when the actual lockdown started. And we say, well, how has the pandemic gone for us? Well, about 188,000 people dead. Right? More Tories and Tory donors, right, got rich than at any time before in this country. A lot of these people, a lot of them, right, was made into they got 10, 20 mil in their bank account, like, for them. Because a lot of these deals, what they was getting was 137 million, right, for PPE contracts and stuff like this. You know what I mean? See, the thing is, right, we heard about all the ones that are high, right, but anything that was £1 million or just below probably wouldn't even make any headway anywhere, because it's only small. Right? So the ones we heard about are the ones that was in excess of 50, 60 million, 40 million. Those are the ones we heard about, right? Going up to up to 200 million pounds, right? For people getting PPE contracts, right? And they've got a shop that sells Hoover parts. Right? That's how these guys was dropping it, right? And they've just taken so much money and they've handed it out, right, to all of their friends, because Boris Johnson and all that lot, they just looked at the pandemic as an opportunity, because that's what it was for them. It just come as an opportunity, and they managed to make so much. I mean, look, Gavin Williamson was made into a lord. Was it a lord, or is he sir? Whatever, right? But that's what Gavin Williamson has been given, right? And what did Gavin Williamson do throughout the pandemic? He fucked up the kids' education. And look, he's been given a nice fat payday off of it. Right? So this is what the Tories, they proper used the pandemic, right, to basically fatten up themselves, as if there wasn't fat enough as it is. Right? And the P&O workers, right? You see, I did say this last week. Yeah, they're losing. They said they're losing £100 million a year, right? So it would be cheaper for them to get rid of their 800 members of staff, right, and just pay them. And now these guys are getting a better settlement than anybody's ever got before. So if it is dragged to court, because I mean there's not going to be no tribunals, nothing like that from the workers, because all the workers, right, are getting more money than they would do from a tribunal. So that's why P&O have just set this up right for them. They said, well, you know what, we can do this, right? Because remember, their ships here, their ships are not registered here. Okay, they might work out of this country, but their ships, they're not registered here. because this country allows people to do stuff like that. Because really and truly, yeah, your ferry services in your country should be run by the government. That's who should run your ferry services. No, there's no if or buts about that, right? You know, look, education, right? You know, health, right? You know, train travel, right? Gas, electric, water. There's probably one or two more, but we'll think about those later. Right? All those things should literally solely only be run by the government. All of those things, so you can keep full control of it. Because if you don't keep full control of these things, the next thing you know, right, you're going to have like a 54% increase, right? And the energy companies are going to be telling you about the massive profits that they're making, right? Where the people of the country have got to pay a 54% increase, right? Or you could have been like them damn socialists in France, right? With their 80% owned energy companies. Yeah. But with that, they can just say to the energy companies, no, oh, Levi, you take the hit. Simple as that. They can just tell them, no. The people's not going to take the hit on this one. You multi-billionaires are going to take the hit on this one, because all you can do is raise it by 4%. While we've got 54%. And why have we got 54%? Because our government is not in control of anything. They're not in control of any of this shit at all. Right? They've lost control of all of this. Right? As you know, the Tories are very, very good with the economy. Right? And that's the reason why finally now, right, we're coming to a stage where you can see they've lost control of all the economy, because they can't control any of these new price rises. They can't control. The French can control it. Why can the French control it? Because they own their energy companies. They own most of, they own like EDL or whatever. They own 80% of it. So that's the reason why they can control it. Right, in the same way, right, if you want to make sure that 800 of your seafaring workers are not sacked off just like that, the government should have been in control of it. That's who should be running your ferry services. It's kind of ridiculous, right? That this people of this country have allowed this country to get into this state. You've only allowed this country to get into the state because you're a bunch of stupid, thick racists. That's why this country is in this state. Right? That's why P&O could just say, you know what? We get rid of all you British rascal workers. Yeah. Went all Caribbean, right? Rid of you all, right? And we're bringing 800 foreign workers. You, right? Look in the mirror, because you have allowed this country to get to this state. You have done that, right? Because you look at people like me and think, oh, well, you know what? Here's your problem. Not those billionaires who live offshore. I don't have a problem. Care about them. Right? And all the time, they're just fucking the country up. That's all they're doing. Right? And this is just, every single one of you racist motherfucking fools, right, need to look at what's happened at P&O, right, and realise, something, yeah, we have fucked up, right, because we are so stupid and thick, and our heads has been clouded with racism. That Asian man down the fucking local shops, hate him, because you're stupid. Right, and that's the reason why P&O could just say, you know what, 800 workers, British workers, fuck off, just get rid of them. We've given them a payout, 36.5 million, so 37 million pounds to pay them out, to pay off 800 workers, right? You think that 37 million pounds could pay off 200 bankers? No. Right? Because you see, we the working classes, yeah, we are just fodder. Well, just in the way. And they pile us up in the way. First of all, we get in the way, and then they're just like, you know what, times have got really hard, let's pile them up. Put them in the way. Get rid of them. Because that's what it is. You got 40 of these people, right, from P&O who are going to get up like 100 grand. And like, oh God, look at that, loads of money. I'm in the money. No, you're fucking not. What's 100 grand going to do? 100 grand can't even buy you a fucking flat right in London. Right, I know these guys don't live in. A lot of these guys don't live in London, but you'll have trouble buying a property with 100 grand virtually anywhere in this country. There's a few places you can, yeah, obviously, but if you don't live near them places, you can't buy a house for 100 grand around there, right? But so these guys, right, are getting. It depends. I mean, some of them might, in some cases, they might get 3 years' wages. In some cases, they might get. It might be 4 years, depending on how much they actually get, right? But as I said, there's 40 of them, only 40, and that's the top. Because if there was 40 of them getting £1 million each, well, obviously that would clear out, right, the 36.5 million pound immediately. Right? So they're quick to tell you about the 40 of them that are getting 100 grand. So as if to say, we working classes should look and say, yeah, what are they complaining about? What they got? They've got a lot to complain about. They've got everything to complain about because they've been treated like shit. Like one big bag of poo that someone throws into your garden after they've picked up their dog's crap. And you people to do that, right, I find you quite disgusting. Take your shit home. Right? And Putin. The big sign behind him, yeah, in his speech the other day, yeah, said, "For a world without Nazis." So this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from Putin, yeah. Listen, I'm up here, I'm up in here, yeah, and I'm fighting Nazis. That's what I'm doing. In the same way, yeah, that that Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi always said, something, yeah, listen, there's some factions here that I'm holding down, because remember they was fighting ISIS, yeah, before we even knew about ISIS. There was still a TV program that had a dog named ISIS in it, right? And then man, they was fighting ISIS, right, from way back when, right? And then what happened? We went and killed them off. And next thing we know, we've got ISIS all over the world, cutting people's heads off on camera. Right? And now we've got Putin saying to us, well, you know something, yeah? I am fighting Nazis up in there. That's what I'm doing. I'm up in there, and you know something, there's a whole heap of Nazis up in there. You know already, right? None of us think Nazis are a good thing, unless you do. I don't know. Do you? But, so that's what Putin's telling us. I'm fighting Nazis. That's what I'm hearing in my ears, and I'm hearing the British and the Americans say, "It's fucking nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's rubbish, my dear." That's what the British and the Americans are saying. Nah, man, it's not true. He's just lying to you. That's all Cockney, right? That's what he's doing. He's lying to you, mister. Right? He's not telling you the truth. What you're hearing is not true. But don't believe your ears. That's what I'm told. Right? Then I go to the border. So I move to the border. I go to Poland. I go to the Polish border between Ukraine and Poland. And I look there and I see people acting like Nazis. All you black and brown people, get over there. Right? And all the white people, go through. You go through. You go through. All the black and brown people, you wait there. Well, isn't that how Nazis would act? Isn't that what Nazis would do? Isn't that what Nazis done to the Jewish people in the 1930s? Jewish people who would have been trying to get away from Hitler, right, would have been segregated, right, at borders. And they say, oh no, well, you're Jewish and you're disabled and you're a gypsy, right? And oh, look, there's a minority that you can't go through. Oh, no, you wait over here, right? Because, the Nazis might want to come and interview you. So you wait there. And everyone who's a non-Nazi or and everybody else who's non-Nazi who's non-Jewish or who's not disabled or not a gypsy or not a minority, you all go through. No, that's not what happened, is it? They put them all over there. Right? stuck them all over there. All the nons, you all go through. They've done that. They was doing that in the 1930s, and I'm seeing that same thing. So, and see, you're saying, where am I going with this? But where I'm going with this, yeah, is because now I see Nazis. I see Nazis on that border, right? And I hear Nazis in my ear from Putin, and I see Nazis. So, as a black man, what the fuck am I supposed to believe? What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say about this? What am I supposed to say? Oh, better just keep quiet about this because, you know, God, we better not speak about it. Fuck off. What the fuck am I supposed to believe? You tell me, what am I supposed to believe about this? I'm hearing Nazis and I'm seeing Nazis. Because you know something, if it was the KKK on that border, right, manning that border, right, then we could say, hold on, right, we all believe that the KKK are Nazis, right? Yes? No, you might not. Some people might think, that they're I don't know, fighting for justice. I don't know. Right, whatever, right? But if the KKK was manning that border, right, we would expect black and Asian people, right, to be segregated, correct? Right. And we would say that they're Nazis, correct? Okay, so I see Nazis acting on that border. I see people acting like Nazis on that border, right? And I hear Putin telling me, you know what, we are, hold on, for a world without Nazis. That's what Putin's saying. And Nazis are active. There's Nazis actively on that border, right? And what's the response from the British people? Oh, well, we've got to help these people, even though they're acting like motherfucking Nazis. We've got to help them. Yeah. And then I look over and I see, that Yemen has been going on for 8 years. And I don't hear anybody saying, oh, we've got to help those people. Right? But the people, right, who we're told are Nazis and who we see acting like Nazis, oh no, we've got to get in there and help those motherfuckers immediately. And then we go to Palestine. For 80 years, have been taking a fucking beating from a next bunch of fucking white people. And the world is like, oh no, it's because those Palestinians are all terrorists. So they brand them fucking terrorists. Right? And you say, well, you've got the fucking Nazis, right, murdering, right, the Palestinians. Right? You've got people fighting against Nazis. That's what the Russians are telling us. Right? Which Caucasians am I to believe here? Am I to believe the Caucasians that I live with, who have racially abused me my whole motherfucking life? Or should I believe the Caucasians who are telling me, actually, for a world without Nazis? And then I see people acting like Nazis on the border. So who am I to believe? Who am I to believe? Eyes or ears? Because ears are telling me the same thing as the eyes are seeing. So we have a real problem there. But anyway, today is Rishi Sunak's statement. Must be, I don't know, begin the summer statement or whatever it is, right? But he's having a statement out today, right, to help with the living costs for people who are, let's just say, our food bank Tories, because there's much more than that is, right? But I've just seen some reports on the TV, and I see one woman, right, and she hasn't been to a supermarket for 6 months. She's just been going food bank all the way because, people can't afford the cost of living. People can't afford to live in this country, right? People that, people that are generations deep, can trace their families back, 200, 300, 400 years, can't afford to live anymore. It's just, it's come to a stage now, yeah, because obviously, I was saying earlier, right, the government have lost control of the economy. They've got no control of it anymore. They've lost complete control of it. Brexit obviously helped with that. Sorry, right? So obviously Brexit helped even more with that. So they've completely lost control of the economy. I mean, they've got the they got the banking, they got the, the EU banking system, what they've just lost, which is probably going to be close to 100 billion that we're bringing into the city every year. So all that money has been lost, it's gone. Right. So that's why they've lost complete control of the economy. So if people are expecting anything from Rishi Sunak actually can't actually do anything to help, really. There's nothing he can really do to help, because no matter what measures he takes, I mean, unless, right, he says, you know what, to the energy companies, actually, right, you're gonna, you're talking about 54% raise. No. You can only raise that by 4%, unless he says something like that, and then he takes the VAT off of fuel or something like that, and takes some of the taxes off of the fuel or something like that, right? Then there's going to be there's nothing in there, right? Because these guys was just like so happy about the minimum wage that they had raised to, like, I don't know what it is, but it's not even £10, right? But they were so happy about that. Oh, it's the minimum wage is the highest it's ever been raised before. So what was you expecting us to say? Well, you're going to cut it. This is the thing with these guys, right? When these guys are talking about the economy and they're saying, oh, well, we're spending more on the economy than we ever did before. So, well, what would you be expecting to spend less? Because, do you expect to spend the same on the economy, yeah, as they were spending in the 1970s when, you could buy a house for £23,000? I mean, when these guys are talking, it's all of it. I've said this before. It's all sleight of hand, right? Because none of it means anything at all. Because when they're saying to you, oh, well, Rishi Sunak, he's spent more money on it. Say, well, what did you expect him to spend less than they were spending in the 80s? Yeah, a can of Coke in the 80s was 30p. I don't know. Might have been less, 25, right? So what would you expect him to be spending less? It really is, right, just the level of stupidity that they take the people of this country for, right? When they start throwing out all these numbers and people are, oh yes, oh God, the Conservatives, they're so good with the economy. No, they're not. They fucked the economy up. The economy is shit. Right? Which is why today, in Rishi Sunak's speech, yeah, there is absolutely bugger the fuck all he can do. That's it. And that was like, that bugger the fuck all, yeah, was an old lady that used to run the fish and chip shop near me. Greek. Bugger the fuck all. Anyway, once again, I've gone well over my time, as per usual. And I don't mean to do that. So I have to bow out. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm DMC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.